What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dueling Aces, the almost retired edition.
You want to call it that?
Oh, hello.
How the hell do you foobar that? It's called somebody was eavesdropping on the phone in Tampa and went, "Hey guys," and they went, Now, just for the hell of it, Tom's probably going to go, "No, I'm coming back for one more," just because Dickhead leaked it.
And I'm fine with that.
I think he's still going to end up retiring.
My thought was that too. Weiss this morning, he said, just because Tom could, he'd turn around and say, "Nah, I'll come back for one more, just for the fun of it, just to turn around and screw that dude."
Sure.
Whoever that dude was got whacked.
Sure, he could, but I don't think he's going to. I think Tom is going to retire, and I think that whoever leaked it or whoever tried to made an enemy for life in the press corps because of
Yeah. Oh no.
If
you royally screwed a lot of credible guys.
Well, so if you are in the locker room and you leak that OBJ is retiring, not a big deal, right? Or Aaron Donald or a Matt Stafford or guys like that, really not a big deal. There's 3 or 4 guys currently playing in the NFL that deserve the amount of respect to announce their own retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Peyton Manning was one of them, and he got to announce it, right? Tom Brady's another one. There's guys that you just don't do that to.
I agree.
And as much as I can't really, I respect Brady as a quarterback, and I respect him as an athlete and what he's done in the NFL and the amount of Super Bowls that he's won. I can't stand his face, and I hope he has a miserable retirement and Giselle just bitches him around for the rest of his life.
That's probably why he doesn't want to retire.
Maybe.
I was going to say, he'll probably end up in a booth, one of the booths.
I think he'll end up in a front office.
Ooh. You think front office?
I think he'll end up in a front office. I don't think he has the patience nor the demeanor to coach. But I think he does have the.
Mike said, it's like, yeah, wait until that bonus on the 4th and then announce it.
But I do think he has the mind to be a front office guy. I think he could be a really good GM or talent consultant, something like that. I mean, look at every team that passed on him multiple times. I think he could find guys that are that level of diamond in the rough.
I mean, it's not like he hasn't actually sat there and gone through, not being able to coach guys up and helping them out in what they should be doing as far as offensive schemes and things.
Right.
I mean, that's why I wouldn't doubt, I was thinking, well, maybe Booth a little bit out the get-go, they'll write him a blank check anyway, and then turn around and pick up on a coaching gig. I was thinking a coaching gig right out the get-go.
I don't think he has the personality to be good in the booth.
Okay.
I think he's got the acumen, and I think he's got the intelligence and the vocabulary and all of that to be good in the booth. I don't think he has the personality.
So you're trying to say?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
He is Belichick replacement. Belichick's not in front of a microphone either. What's up, Scott?
Are you trying to say that he's like the Jeff Gordon of the NFL? Because a lot of people didn't think Gordon was going to do good in the booth, but he did fine.
Gordon's different because Gordon played off of Mike Joy.
True.
And Gordon was able to play off of Boyer last year.
Which was
And
great.
I think that Gordon did way better in a 3-man booth than he did in a 2-man booth with just him and Mike. But I think that for Brady to be really effective in the booth, he needs somebody that he can verbally spar with and play off of. Like him and Manning in a booth together would be great.
That would be.
Because the two of them have personalities that mesh well. Like I've watched some of the NFL network specials that they've done together, and they're hilarious together. And I think that they would bring a lot to the game together. I don't think that he with like a Mike Tirico or an Al Michaels or anything like that he'd be a more credible Chris Collinsworth.
He might be in a better setting if him and like Peyton did kind of what Eli and Peyton are doing now. Like on the Monday night games, they have that little side ESPN too. I could see him being better in that kind of setting.
Yeah, well, because he joined them the one week.
It
was Tom and Peyton and Eli, and it was hilarious for all three of them together. I like that. Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Like just make that a permanent thing on like the Sunday or Monday night games. You know what I mean?
Well, because there was one comment, I forget who was playing the night that game happened, but somebody threw a pass and and it ended up being an interception. And Tom goes, "Hey Peyton, those look like the ones you used to throw to us all the time." And it was just this subtle little dig, but it was good because Peyton said something about, well, if my receivers were taller. Because you had Marvin Harrison and you had Reggie Wayne. They weren't tall, but they were fast.
Right. Aaron's asking, could Aaron Rodgers be headed to Tampa if Tom retires?
There's a lot of talks of that, but I just don't know if he'd be a good fit. I mean, he wouldn't say he would be a good fit, but he'd be an interesting for sure.
I think, can we get through the next 2 weeks without talking about how sad Patrick Mahomes? No, we could talk about how sad Patrick Mahomes looks because I laughed. I laughed so hard. I taught my son new words yesterday. He threw that. Mahomes threw that interception, and Cincinnati came up with it, and I leapt off my couch, and the first words out of my mouth at a yelling tone were, "Fuck you, you Kermit the Frog Muppet motherfucker."
Damn.
I cannot stand him. And he does a lot of great work in his community, and he is a talented quarterback, and he is definitely one of the future stars of the NFL. But for whatever reason, I just don't like him.
Fair enough.
And I love the fact that Cincinnati won. And I love the fact that they won by 3 again.
Shut him down the second half again.
Right. I mean, I was coaching basketball games and got home literally at the start of the fourth quarter. And apparently everybody kept saying, my mom, I was on the phone with her, and she said, boy, have you missed a lot. And I was just like, well, okay. And
that's why we're talking about this, because I just got an ESPN notification that says Tom Brady says on his podcast today that is literally day to day with me regarding decision on his playing future.
Yes, I saw that earlier too.
I heard it directly on the Sirius on Mad Dog. Yeah, I heard it. It's just like he's going to literally just wait it out, and you know, as they said, Mike said, he gets $1 million bonus on the fourth.
With the
fourth.
It's only by the end of the week. I mean, what? The only thing going on this weekend is the Pro Bowl and the race, right?
Yes.
There ain't nothing else going on, right?
So psyched about that race.
I know you are. That's why I mentioned it.
But they
mentioned it. But no, I mean, literally, it's like, okay, like you said, you let Tom. Oh, damn, the hell, stupid glitch.
Go white out.
Like, what? Yeah, it's like what purpose? I mean, it's like, dude, like Bruiser said earlier, you let him make the decision and let him announce it.
Right.
Well, you give him enough respect to let him make the announcement too,
right.
Because he's earned it.
Absolutely.
He's earned it. He's
earned the right for.
He's one of a handful. A handful.
In a situation like that, though, what does the guy get that tries to be the first one to report it before him? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't get you anything.
It might. You get a scoop like that, and it might get you some credibility, a little bit of favoritism in the office. It might get you some things, but what it doesn't do is garner you any favoritism or any type of stuff like that with that team's front office or with the players. So,
or with who you're leaking it to. Well, they would never trust your ass again.
But here's the thing. I don't think that guy was wrong. I don't think whoever leaked it was wrong. I really think that he was going to retire, and then it blew up, and Tom didn't get to make the announcement himself, and he put the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's putting the kibosh on it.
And he put the kibosh on it. So that's why I said, like, guys like Roethlisberger, right? Roethlisberger's earned the right to announce his own retirement.
Agreed.
Brady, Rodgers, the Mannings, when they played, they earned that right. Trying to think of like a running back that would be able to. But there's several guys within the NFL that have earned that right to announce. Jason Pierre-Paul, future Hall of Famers. Joe Thomas when he played for the Browns. Guys like that are well within their own rights to announce their retirement. And so if you get a leak like that, you're just doing damage to your own cause, because nobody's going to tell you anything from now on.
Nope.
Or they'll tell you some news and see if you go and report it.
Yeah.
Kind of
it's a catch-22 situation. I mean, it's like you said. Personally, when I saw Gronk put his posting on Facebook last week, there had to be another sidebar conversation, because if Tom and Rob chatted even a bit, it was like, all right, what's next? So without saying it, it kind of gave that inclination last week. I even said, looks like that's pretty much the end of the run.
So, it's going to be really, I mean, say he does retire, it's going to be really interesting to see what Tampa Bay does do. Do they try to go with Kyle Trask and let him, do they go out and they get a veteran to groom Trask? I know they're supposedly supposed to be pretty high on this Kyle Trask kid out of Florida.
Well, but I mean, do you go get Russell Wilson?
Jimmy G?
Jimmy?
I don't think Jimmy G's going anywhere. But if I'm Tampa Bay, I might call the Browns and see what they want for Baker.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, but what are they going to give up though?
I'm not sure, but like I said, it doesn't hurt to call.
No. Oh, no, not one bit.
it doesn't hurt the call, and it certainly doesn't hurt to put the feelers out there, because then you might have a team who was looking at, say, a Baker or a Jimmy G or somebody like that who's cemented in for a little ways into that other team, and you might find the trade partner that you really need. You know what I mean?
Well, too, when the Browns were going through their coaching shit, Bruce Arians wanted to come here.
I know he did.
So maybe there's more to it than maybe he might be a fan. I don't know. It's a hypothetical. It's just hypothetical, Jimmy. That's all.
Yeah, no, it's for sure hypothetical. Like it's. Sorry, I'm in here. I'm in the kitchen cooking potatoes for the dog.
It's all right. The cap space is pretty close.
Though Tampa Bay and Cleveland.
Yeah. Tampa Bay is 32-2, and Cleveland's is at 35-3. Right?
That's what I thought. I thought they were only like $3 or $4 million apart.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that damn chart's been getting a lot of fucking workout.
Yeah. That chart truly has.
Maybe you don't trade Tampa for a quarterback. Maybe you trade Tampa for some picks and some secondary help or a linebacker or something.
I don't know if they give up. They're not giving up Levante David. I can tell you that.
They may not give up Levante Davis, but you could get somebody in the secondary, or you could get linebacker help, because I think Clowney's going to re-sign.
I do too.
I think he's going to re-sign because I think he liked playing with Garrett.
Yeah.
So I think Clowney's going to re-sign, but I would be remiss to say that I'm not concerned about it. You know what I mean?
This was kind of we all know that I'm not a Baker hater at all by any means, but I thought of this today, and not saying that it would happen, but say somehow, some way the Browns make a trade depending on where he goes. Is there that chance that he could end up? I mean, not that he would, but there could be the possibility, you don't know, that he end up having a good year like Stafford did in a different setting.
I think he could, but I think with Baker,
Scott said they can have Goff.
No thanks.
I think with Baker, though, you run into that problem of what part of it is the new setting and a new system, and the other part of it becomes the same old Baker. Because I went back, I was looking, I think it was the ESPN stats and info, and then whatever other. There were, over the last 2 years, there was a total of 24 drives, potential scoring drives for the Browns that resulted in a Baker interception. 24.
And I'm sure probably half of those were off the receiver's hands, right?
No, we're talking like he threw it straight into coverage. Yeah. 24.
Oh, here is
I don't know.
Here's a list of Tampa's free agents as well.
Clint, don't come on here just getting them lips already for Baker. Just
Pierre.
I'm just saying, like 24. I don't know.
24 turnovers.
I mean, I get it. He threw it right to him, but I just look at like there's other factors on drives too, though.
But we're talking like game-altering drives. Game-altering that were potential for a score, and that's to me that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. You can't put your team and your defense in that type of predicament that often.
I'll tell you what, just looking at this list, Tampa Bay is losing a shit ton of defense.
You betcha they are.
If fucking Brady retires, they might go into a straight rebuild mode.
I'm about to say, if Brady retired, do all them guys leave?
That's what I'm thinking.
But that's the NFL nowadays.
And some of these guys they got on here is young. Alex Kappa, when you're starting guard.
But that again, that's the NFL today. They're modeling themselves after the players have begun to model it after the NBA. You get 4, 5, 6 guys that sign on for a number of years at a team. You take your shot at the big silver trophy, and then you move somewhere else.
I hope the guy does not go to
Sanders is drinking. Must be drinking into something already because Baker.
What's he drinking?
Not going to happen.
Was he drinking the Flint water?
Yeah. I don't know what he's today, but you know.
The name I see here that I would like to have. I mean, I know we have a good enough secondary, but I would always add pieces. But Carlton Davis, I think he's very underrated.
For the Browns,
he kind of like Trayvon Diggs, man.
Jimmy,
he there. He a gambler. If he gamble and it don't show off, it don't pay off. That's a big play.
There you go.
Sorry,
Jimmy. I'll still change it. Tannehill for Baker.
Hell no.
Baker.
I think
that's a good one, Jimmy. I like that one. That's funny.
You can probably do it straight up too.
Right?
Not even draft picks, just straight up.
I would, if you can't trade Baker for a decent.
Yeah, but what are you looking? I was going to say, what will you be looking at?
I would draft.
Technically, you're looking at first round material, no matter what. You're looking at a first round caliber player or pick.
But I'm looking at the pick because here's my thought. I'm going to hire an OC to call the play. I'm going to take that out of Stefanski's hands.
Give you
got to do that anyway. But yeah.
But Stefanski to me is a great game manager. But he needs somebody.
Play caller.
But he's not a great play caller. So I'm going to take that out of his hands. I'm going to hire a different defensive coordinator. So I'm going to replace my coordinators. I'm not going to fire Stefanski because I think the team and the morale of the team and the overall attitude of the team has improved in the 2 years that he is here. So I want to continue to foster that, right?
Agreed.
I want to continue to build on that. So he's not on the hot seat. Even if they have another 7-9 or 8-8 year.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
he shouldn't be. So I'm going to continue to foster that with him. If I'm the GM, I'm going to sit down and have a serious conversation with Baker about what do you want to do? Because we can put a deal together and we can re-sign you, but these are our stipulations. You need to start really working with a quarterbacks coach in the offseason. You need to work on this, and this, because you're killing us here and here and here. And if Baker's not willing to work on that, then I'm going to put a deal together to trade him and get some picks in here, and I'm going to get a decent game manager, veteran quarterback in, and then next year in the draft, I'm going to either package some picks together to get high up, or if the record is such that we're in the first 10 picks, I'm going after one of the quarterbacks available next year.
I'll tell you what, the more I think about them actually doing a trade for a quarterback, I get this bad, sickening feeling that it's going to be fucking Cousins.
No, but the thing is we brought it up before, is Case Keenum already knows the system. Case Keenum has managed 2 wins with Baker out. It's like, okay, granted, the Cincinnati game, it was all the junior high players, but still.
But is Case
Keenum... It's not like you don't have the guy who, A, already knows the system, and B, is the game manager, quote unquote, that you're looking for.
But is Case
Keenum not good enough to take you to that level, though?
But
Like-
but here's the question, Clint. Could he be? Could you get a Jeremy Garoppolo type performance out of him where he's going to make mistakes, but the team respects him and they follow him and he's the lead? You know what I mean? Like, as much as you want to rag on Garoppolo, George, like I know you don't like him, you can't deny that team does respect him.
Oh, there's no doubt. There's no doubt.
And that he is a leader
because the team literally was a crap show before he got there.
Right.
So
So
man
like,
was hurt yesterday after that loss. Because that loss all on him.
There's no doubt that he flipped that team around.
but that loss was on him, and he admitted it.
Yeah, he ate it. He owned up to it.
Exactly. So is Keenum like? I don't need a quarterback to go out there and drop his pants and show me his bronze codpiece to show me how big his set is, like Baker tries to do. I need you to consistently improve, and I need you to consistently stop putting us in bad positions. That's what I need out of my quarterback. I don't need a superstar. I need the guy who actually is the lunch pail blue collar worker and not the one who pretends to be.
So you want Fitzpatrick?
Give me a Fitzpatrick. Give me an Andy Dalton. Give me a Cousins. Give me a guy like that.
As soon as you said that name, Clint's face is sour.
I'll take Ryan Fitzpatrick. If you going that route, I'll take Jameis Winston. No, I don't think I would take Jameis Winston.
No.
Let's think about that.
No. Dave, Mr. Manning says, yeah, it definitely needs an OC. We all are in agreement on that one. Jimmy says you're putting your whole team failures on Baker. Think about what you just said, 2 games. I'm not putting the whole team failures on Baker.
I'm not.
Just the
Everybody else is.
Everybody else is, but if you listen to what
there's a lot of people that are, I mean, I called it out.
I said it. It's either you love Baker or you hate him. It's no in between. That's how the fan base is.
But I don't hate Baker. I think
I'm not saying you. I'm saying that like most of the fan base now is either you love Baker or you hate him. If you try
I'll give you that
Baker do is all of a sudden you kissing Baker's ass. If you pick on Baker and all of a sudden, oh well, you not giving Baker a chance. It's like you can still be reasonable with your opinion. It's just that the fan base right now is just so stuck in their ways. It's either you feel this way or this way.
But I have never once said, and
I'm not saying you. I'm just talking about like
I'm not. I don't mean you. I mean,
okay.
Anybody, the dude that tried to call me out. You can go back and listen to any episode where I've talked about Baker, and I have said there are a number of things wrong with this team, a number of things. But the thing that upsets me the most is that Baker has these flaws and has had them his entire pro career and not improved on them at all. And that's what upsets me. That's what bothers me about him.
Think of it this way. We're going right into the danger zone with Baker.
Rolling with 6.
At least one more year.
I think
year.
so.
That's
what happened with Matthew Stafford. Well,
what happened?
Yeah, the Lions had Matthew Stafford for an extremely long time.
Yeah, but he's got a hell of a lot more weapons and a hell of a better defense in LA.
Yeah.
And he's got a better coaching staff in LA than he ever had in Detroit.
Very true.
He does. He's got a better coaching staff in LA than he ever had in Detroit. And he went to the playoffs 3 times with Detroit.
Yeah, I think Dave hit the nail right on the head. You got to give him a better receiving core with no divas and shit like that.
We sat here in the preseason. We sat here talking in the preseason, and it was me and Suds and Zolt and I think Clint all said you need to trade OBJ now and get something for him. You need to.
Yeah.
And
we all did. We all did.
There were a few that were not on board with that.
I totally was.
I know you were.
Yeah.
But there were a few that Akers was like, well, you can't do that. You can't. And it.
Yeah, we was all saying trade him when you can get something for him. Like,
yeah.
Why? That'd be too easy. That's not the Cleveland way to do shit. You know?
It's not. You're right, but you need to. You have to stop looking at the.
Well, like right now, Chris Godwin is a free agent.
But he's coming off an injury.
Okay.
You also, and you
I'm
also
gonna be
have,
honest
have
with you.
all of the Green
I'm
Bay
be honest with you.
and
Yeah, man, I don't care if Chris Godwin coming off an ACL injury.
all 5
That
Green
dude's a
Bay
stud.
Packer wide receivers are free agents. You can't franchise tag all of them.
But at the same time, you don't want to risk it though, because he kind of been injured playing his whole career as Chris Godwin has been.
No, but I'm just saying, you also have all 5 Green Bay Packer wide receivers.
But
also, all free agents.
But I know that with Godwin or Adams or
are them only 2 that's coming
you
out?
Have Adams,
no, Mike Williams for the Chargers too.
I know I have proven commodities in those guys, right?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know what commodities I have on the Browns receiving core. I know the potential that I have with a few guys, but I need someone who is going to come in and be a lunch pail guy and show my receivers how to be a receiver. Be willing to take that double team. Be willing to take a few less, targets so that the rest of the guys can start. OBJ wasn't willing to do that. Is Godwin going to be the type to do that? Is a Mike Williams? Is an Adams? Are those guys going to be willing to do that?
Well, I was
Mike Williams would, because he did the second half of the year when it just became the focal point became Keenan Allen, and
I wish that when the trade deadline was around, they would have went out and got Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks for the 3rd round, like it was awesome.
I ain't have a problem with Brandon Cooks.
I would have loved that.
The problem with Brandon Cooks said if he get traded one more time, he said he's not playing for no more. He said, I'm tired of getting traded.
I tell you what, the guy I wish that the Browns could have got their hands on, it was a guy like Cooper Kupp. And we had a guy like that years ago in Joe Juravicious.
Hang on a quick second. Hey, Dave, Twitter was saying Tom Brady retired and making it official, too. Guess what? They were wrong.
Yeah, because the last I heard,
Tom Brady said he ain't made up his mind.
He's not made up his mind yet.
You know why he ain't make up his mind? He's waiting for that $15 million to hit. Then he'll retire.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Brady will retire after the Super Bowl.
Probably.
Yeah, and that's what he's waiting for, is he doesn't want to take away from.
And I think that's classy.
So do I.
I don't think a Muppet like Mahomes would do that.
No, because his brother will fucking ruin the news before.
Right, I was gonna say his brother would be sitting there.
His brother will ruin the news. His mom will bitch about how they didn't get enough coverage. I mean,
and his fiance just walked around spraying people with champagne bottles. Apparently, that's what she was doing. Like,
well, I'll tell you what though, I thought
we said it after week 5 in the season. Was the book out on Mahomes?
For sure it is.
Gave you the blueprint.
It been out on Mahomes.
But it's just the execution of it.
But see, Cincinnati did it twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stunningly well.
Tell them to no points in the second half. Well, no touchdowns. No touchdowns.
Yeah, just the field goal.
Of those 2 games.
That defensive stop in the last waning seconds of the second quarter.
That defensive stop in regulation with a minute 28 was sick, but well designed, because I was on the phone, like I said, with Mom, and I said, if they play this right and they keep the spy right there in the middle, and once that line separates, it's going to be like the parting of the sea, and he's going to go right in there. Sure enough.
But at the same time, though, when I watched that play, I felt like Mahomes felt he tried to do way too much. I'm like, come on, bro. Like,
he tries to be the hero far too often.
Yeah, that's what it was. Running and breaking tackles and doing that. I'm like, bro, just Just run
Throw
that
it
bad boy out the end
away.
zone and let it fight another day. You took a nine.
Yeah.
Didn't he take a 5-yard
He
sack? Then
fumbled
like
it.
a
He
12. I'm talking
fumbled
about
the
before that.
ball.
No,
He
not
fumbled
that.
the-
Didn't
he
he take
took
a sack
he
earlier
took a
before that?
No, he took on that
No.
when the spy came in, and
He got tagged and
that was a
fumbled the ball.
13-yard sack.
I know that, but didn't he get sacked before that whole thing with the drive happened though with the ball?
No.
No.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay. I thought he took
No.
another sack before then. Okay.
No, he
No.
got tagged, but he had released the ball and he released it into the flat, and whoever caught it didn't get anywhere.
Oh,
But-
okay. All right.
But with
No, it was a very impressive play. I
with
was
with
impressed by Cincinnati's defense because I thought, are they going to let them just hurry up, score, and then take their timeout and go down with a minute 30 and try to get their own touchdown back?
but watching that game,
That was brilliantly done.
I watched the first and the second quarter, and I'm watching it, and I'm watching Mahomes pretty much have run of the field, and the Cincinnati defense not doing much. And I said out loud, why are they not putting a spy in the middle? Why are they not putting a spy in the middle? And then they came out in the third quarter,
There was
And-
in the middle.
and there he was. And I went, so you let him run up 28 points on you in the first half, or 21 points on you in the first half?
They made adjustments at halftime.
They did make adjustments at halftime, and I'm super psyched that they did. I'm super psyched that they did, but I think you could have won that game outright if you had went in with the right adjustments to begin with.
And that's why I think that, going into, the Super Bowl here in a couple of weeks, right now they're saying the Rams at 3.5, it's opened, and the over-under's 50. I think it's going to get a lot closer than that.
I mean, the Rams, the away team.
The Rams are the away team, but I have watched people on Twitter and in NFL media all day just shit all over the Bengals. Like this is just going to be the anointing of Stafford and the Rams that they've wanted.
You know
That's
what?
kind
Let
of
them
funny.
do it. They've
That's
been doing
kind of
it all-
funny
they've
because
been
on
doing
the
it all
radio,
playoffs.
the radio,
All
it's
playoffs.
the opposite.
I know. If you
It's
listen,
totally
if
the
you listen to ESPN radio, they're all over the Rams. If you listen to NFL radio on Sirius, they're actually talking about it like it's a legitimate game. You know what I mean?
They are. Yes,
So-
they are.
Well, I think that's funny. Even though the Rams are playing at home, they're the actual visiting
They're the
team.
away team.
Well, and
I mean, they're in the visitors' locker room, not home stadium.
But they did that.
They've already clarified. The Rams will have their locker room. The Bengals will get the Chargers locker room. Remember, both teams have
home team locker rooms.
Home locker rooms.
Yeah,
They have
so
their separate locker rooms.
they have
So,
they have separate locker rooms. The Bengals will get the Chargers locker room.
yep.
The
They'll still
they
have
did
their
it,
locker
but they
room.
did it to Tampa Bay last year. The Tampa Bay was told by the NFL, you are the away team. That's why they
No.
wore the
No,
whites.
Tampa Bay was home team last year. NFC
No, they
was,
were not. They were the away team.
Yes, they were. Yes,
No,
they
they-
were because the AFC is this year, and they
No.
rotate. They alternate every other year. Yes.
They weren't the home team last year because they were told specifically you are not allowed to fire the cannons.
No, they were told they're not allowed to fire the cannons, but yes, they were the home team. The NFC was the home team last year. They got uniform rights and everything. But no, they were not allowed to fire off the cannons.
They were, but
had
they were
studios,
told.
they had multiple studios set up. That's why they definitely were making sure that they weren't firing off the cannons.
But they were told you specifically you were not allowed to fire off the cannons. And
Yeah.
then, right as the final seconds ticked off, they fired off the cannons. And I remember
but they got fined for it though.
they got fined for it. And I remember reading an article that Roger Goodell placed a phone call to Bucks ownership over it too.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that man.
I tell you what, though, watching that game yesterday, I thought Tom Brady had a really good boo-boo face when he lost, and so did. And I thought Eli Manning had one of the best boo-boo faces. But good Lord, watching Mahomes sit there and try to adjust his shoulder pads and just look pissed was awesome.
But did you see the ironic thing that they brought up too? And how long it took him to throw his interception in overtime?
Yes, I looked
13
up. The
seconds?
Bucks were the home team in that
13
Super
seconds.
Bowl.
I got some friends that are real big Kansas City Chiefs fans,
My
and
boss is a Kansas City Chiefs fan.
one of them was like, one of them posted right at the end of regulation when overtime was kicking in. Here we go, another 13 seconds, Super Bowl bound, and then Mahomes threw that interception, and I texted him and put the gif of Lee Corso going, "Not so fast, my friend." And I've not heard back from him yet.
Yeah.
Nobody's got the boo-boo face, man. I can't find it for you.
The Patrick Mahomes boo-boo face?
Yeah.
That's seared into my brain. You don't have to find it. It's a great boo-boo face. His boo-boo face, I mean, him, if you could do a Mount Rushmore of NFL boo-boo faces, it would be like Mahomes and Brady and Eli Manning and Ben Roethlisberger have the best boo-boo faces.
Well, what the hell happened to Adam?
Speaking of Roethlisberger, did any of you guys see the video this week when when the retirement became official?
No, I only heard it on the radio.
I didn't see it neither. I was at work when I heard about it.
He put out him and ESPN together put out a video. It was about 3.5 minutes long, but it was him in his locker, and he would reach up and grab a picture, and it was like one of the pictures was a clip. It's a still picture from like high school, and as he pulled it down, it would cut to the footage, and you would hear him narrating. I can't believe a kid from Ohio played this many years in the NFL, and all I wanted to do the standard stuff, right? But it was really well done, and I went, as much as a POS that guy was, I gotta respect him a little bit. He's still a Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah.
I think it's not. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of Brown, like, yeah, you do hate the fact that he always was like, you got to respect. I said Hall of Famer. I mean, that man played his whole career with one team.
Yep.
Like,
I look at that and I think of what could have been, because I don't think that he has the career that he had if we pass Kellen Winslow and draft him. You know what I mean? I don't, because think about it at the time. If you think about it at the time in that Browns organization, it was a lot of tumult and turmoil, and there wasn't a bright spot at the end of the tunnel. I mean, the fact that we didn't have an offensive line ruined Tim Couch.
yeah, it did.
Yeah.
I think Tim Couch.
Because I don't think Tim Couch is the bust that everybody make him out to be.
I don't think so either, and I don't think that David Carr would have been a bust either.
David Carr's another one.
Yeah,
got beat up a lot.
Yeah, when you have no offensive line on a rebuild team.
Exactly.
This what kills me. I look at these lists and they put up here bust, and I see Tim Couch up here all the time. But I've seen quarterback below him. I'm seeing guys like Andre Ware, like below Tim Couch. I'm like, really? Like Andre Achilles. I'm like, really? You mean tell me that Tim Couch is much more of a bust than these guys?
To me,
correct, don't he got more touchdowns than interceptions for his career than Tim Couch?
But
not a bad career.
Like Ryan Leaf, that's a bust.
He's a bust. Jamarcus Russell, he's a bust.
A bust.
Here's the draft.
Kellen Winslow.
Here's the draft.
I can't call him a bust.
Here's the draft. Manning, Larry Fitzgerald, Phillip Rivers, Sean Taylor, Kellen.
I forgot about
look at the names on this list.
Right.
That's just in the first 15 guys.
Reggie Williams, bust. I forgot about Tommy Harris. Damn, Jonathan Vilma, Bounty Gate.
He comes up with Bounty
Fucking
Will
JP.
Smith.
Vince
Rest in
Wilfork,
peace.
Steven
Wilfork.
Jackson.
Man. Chris Gamble. Benjamin Watson. Carlos Danby. Come on. Then that Bob Sanders. There's a lot of names on that list.
Yeah, and it's like I said, that's just through the first couple of rounds. It's like, hello, really? Okay. And 17 quarterbacks went in this draft.
Ooh, we
17. 17 QBs. Let me try to pull up that list.
I'm trying to think of them. I know it was Rivers and Eli and Ben. I can't think
JP Lossman.
of he one of those.
He was on that list.
Roethlisberger, Rivers, Eli, Matt Schaub.
Oh my God, Pick Six Schwab. I forgot about him.
JP. Well, Matt did all right.
He did all right. Yeah.
Spots. Yeah, Lossman was there too.
I'm waiting for the one big steal name. Might not be one. Yeah, because I can win a while for another quarterback win, huh?
What draft was Joey Harrington drafted in?
Oh,
I say 2002, I think.
I thought it was 2001.
One of those. Sorry, one of those. I'll double check.
Is Joey Harrington a bust?
If you ask the Detroit guys, yes, but
Joey Harrington.
I mean, overall.
I don't know.
79 touchdowns, 85 interceptions, 14,000 passing yards.
How long was his career, though?
7 years.
7 years. 7, 8 years.
2002, third overall. Joey Harrington.
Yeah, 02 to 07. Because he was, it's Detroit for what, 4 or 5,
That's
4
crazy.
years.
His career was that
Detroit,
short.
then Miami, then Atlanta. It's a matter of timing. I mean, yeah, you could say, you put Harrington on a different squad. Who knows? I mean, seriously, if Tom Brady gets picked by the Cleveland Browns, does he have the career he has?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, because it came down to who his coach was. I think Tom Brady developed into the player that Tom Brady became because of who was his coach in the NFL to start.
Fair enough.
Or that you flip it around, and could you say if Tim Couch got drafted by Belichick, would he have the career that Brady had?
I maybe because at the time the Patriots had a far better franchise than the Browns did.
Well, there's always that great what if scenario. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think there's three coaches that were active in the early 2000s that if Brady had been drafted by them, Brady would have had a similar career to what he has now.
Andy Reid.
Andy Reid, Tony Dungy, Tom Coughlin, and then Belichick.
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Dungy had Manning, so imagine what he would have did with Brady.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Brady was far polished when he came out.
Technically, you're thinking back that far. Technically, you could go Mike Shanahan.
See, Shanahan, I don't know about Shanahan because to me, Shanahan was always really good with running backs.
Well, I'm just saying because you got Brady. Brady could probably even play longer because he'd be.
Who was the quarterback that the Broncos had in the 2000s?
Plummer.
Plummer.
Arizona State.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
So, like I said, Tom Brady with Shanahan, that could have been interesting too. That could have been interesting.
It could have been, but I don't think it would have worked out the way we all think it would have.
Here's a question for you. Think back to all the years that we've had, drafts. Like, say you go back to, I don't know, if you want to ballpark it and put a year on it, go for it. But a player that, had he gotten drafted somewhere else rather than where he did, he had a good career. But if he would have went to this team, he'd have been a bust.
I think any from 99 to about 05, any star player coming out of college that would have been drafted by the Browns, the Raiders. Well, no, because the Raiders went to the Super Bowl in 02. The Browns, the Dolphins, because that was wasn't it the start of the Saban era? Was the early 2000s?
No, you said the Bengals, because the Bengals was a mess too.
The Bengals?
Well, no, but the Bengals were. No, I think
they were a mess around the time the Browns were. They was a mess.
They were better than Cleveland.
But not by much.
But still.
But those teams, I think those are the teams that if you would have taken a star player, they would have imploded. And I think you really have to look at the coaching staffs that were available to those teams.
Quick question. Did the Browns miss out with not keeping Greg Williams?
I think they did.
I think that's such a subjective question.
He had the best record at the time, and you didn't even let him get a full season. And he had the best winning record you had out of the last, 3 or 4 coaches?
He did.
I liked that. He was the type that would get up in your face and tell you when you fucked up. I felt that's what we needed,
And we had a very high percentage defense at that time too.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And I know that the big attraction is always the offensive minded coach, but as it's been said on this show a few times, defense does win you games too.
You needed a guy like Greg Williams to keep the team in line, right? Which I think that's what he did. However, I don't know that Greg would have worked out long term. I think a guy like Greg would have been good for 3 to 5 years to get you to the point where you were a perennial playoff contender, and maybe you had gone to an AFC title game or two, but couldn't get past that hump. I think he's the type of guy that would have definitely changed the culture and moved the culture in the right direction. And you certainly set it back by passing on him and going with Freddie Kitchens. But I don't think he's the type of coach that could lead you to the promised land.
Well, the reason I was getting at go ahead.
I was saying he's that good intermediate. He's that bridge to where you need to go. And I don't think there's any shame in that at all.
Okay. Fair enough. I like it. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like you said. I mean, if it's going to keep you in the talk, especially for 3 to 5 years, I mean, it's better than going for.
It's better than what they did last year versus what they did this year. I'm sorry, Adam. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I just the whole train because we all we start jumping into all these different things and we get all over the goddamn place half the time because everything's such a good conversation. But because the reason I brought that up is because imagine say Peyton Manning gets drafted to the Texans. Does he have the career that he's had?
No.
You know what I mean? Situations like that. I'm trying to think of a running back, and I can't think of a running back that was good. Like Marshall Faulk, would he have been the same if he'd have went?
Terrell Davis.
Yeah.
Ricky
You
Williams.
know what I mean? Yeah.
Imagine
Hell,
Ricky
imagine Barry
Williams.
Sanders was playing with a team with an offensive line. He's
But
like 3,000 yards a season.
But Barry quit of his own accord.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
And the Lions weren't terrible when he was there. They were middle of the road.
Yeah, they were making it to the playoffs, but getting their ass whooped by Washington.
I think if
Sorry, I know, cheap shot. Zolt's not here, I know.
if you took Ricky Williams and put him on Tampa Bay at the time, Oakland, Indianapolis, because they were starting to come around. I'm trying to remember who all was good. Hell, put him on the Steelers. Can you imagine Ricky Williams behind that offensive line in the late 90s, early 2000s with the Pittsburgh Steelers? The running back combo of him and Jerome Bettis.
Check, please.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, there's your thunder and lightning big time.
That's a callback to the old Browns Thunder and Lightning for sure. So I think that in that conversation, Adam, could go both ways.
Right.
Look at players who got drafted by poor teams and were shuffled out of the NFL really quick, and look at really good players who got like. I think if Courtney Brown gets drafted by anybody but the Browns, he's not a bust.
Yeah. He has a hell of a year or hell of a career.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Gerard Williams, another guy. I think some of these players need to go places that have strong head coaches so that they're not tempted by society in general that's around them. Because you look at Kellen Winslow here, and he wrecked his motorcycle, and everybody kind of laughed at him. But then we were like, "Oh, get better! We need you on the field." That's the type of behavior that a child does. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Braylon Edwards is another one.
Braylon Edwards is absolutely another one.
I was so mad he didn't pan out here. I was so stoked when we drafted his ass, and then it didn't work out.
You throw him a pass that he has to catch one-handed, tiptoe down the sideline and get another 5 yards, he can catch it. Throw him an out route where he's got 45 yards of open field, he drops it every time.
That would kill me about Braylon Edwards. Drop the easy ones, catch the hard one.
Sorry, we're having a Roblox meltdown because she can't get her fucking Roblox to play. She probably needs to update it, so she's having a meltdown.
Look at a guy like Maurice Jones-Drew. He had a pretty good career.
Yes, he did. Undrafted. Arian Foster, too.
Think about what you said earlier about coaches, though. Who did Maurice Jones-Drew have as a coach?
When he was in Jacksonville?
Coughlin.
Well, Coughlin. Wasn't Palmer there for part of it, too?
Probably, maybe.
Coughlin was a coach when he had Maurice Jones-Drew?
I believe so.
Yep.
Can you guys still hear me pretty well?
Yes, absolutely.
I stepped out onto my front porch.
Wait, head?
Oh, yeah, you're fine.
I had to.
Part of the organization, or y'all talking about like head coach?
Head coach, dude. Coughlin was the head coach of the Jags.
Yeah. Part of this recipe for the dog food is when you after you're done cooking the potatoes, you have to put them in an ice bath to cool them off to stop the cooking process. And so I just drain them and then stick them in the pot and put them out in the snow.
You won't know the difference.
She didn't care. But I'm out here on the front porch watching the potatoes for a few minutes because of the woods all around. I don't want the scent to get down to the woods and look out and see a bunch of raccoons eating, boiled potatoes. Because it's melting the snow around the pot.
I'm sorry. Coughlin was before him. It was Jack Del Rio who was his coach.
Jack Del Rio.
I knew it wasn't Tom Coughlin. Oh, Jack Del Rio. I forgot about him.
I thought Coughlin was still there. Drew came in 06.
Because it went
Coughlin
was
was there until 02.
Yeah, because it went Palmer then Coughlin.
No, Coughlin was the first.
Yeah, well, no, Palmer was the OC. Palmer was Coughlin's OC.
Yes.
Because that was the team that I rooted for when the Browns left, was the Jags.
Yeah, and Del Rio came in 2003 and was there until 2011.
And I remember being so stoked in '96 when they made it to the AFC title game against the Broncos.
That was Coughlin, wasn't it, as the coach?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was so pissed, and that's why I hated John Elway and didn't want to see him win the Super Bowl.
That was going to have been the year too, but nice if you would have had 2 expansion teams. Going for the Super Bowl. Wasn't that the same year when the Panthers beat the Cowboys and went on their little run?
The Panthers went on the run, but they didn't make it to the Super Bowl that year. That year, I think.
No, I know, but like everybody was talking about 2 expansion teams.
That was
win the Super Bowl.
That was the year that it could. Well, it almost happened in. It almost happened the year that the Panthers went against the Broncos because the Jags had beaten the Steelers in the playoffs that year.
We got a posting here from our Twitch connection. It says, I know as a Bears fan, coming so close and not winning the Super Bowl can stick with the franchise for decades. The Bengals have been there twice, and each time ran into a team who was better than them. Those times it was San Francisco. I'm curious if past defeats in the Super Bowl will haunt the Bengals.
I think this is a totally different Bengals team. The way these guys are playing with the leadership that Burrow's showing them, this is not the same Bengals back then. I think these guys could actually, I had a feeling I thought the 49ers were going to be my sleeper, which they almost were, and then I was kind of hoping for that Bengals 49ers, the way the Bengals could have extracted some revenge, but we're going to have a hell of a game, I think, Super Bowl Sunday.
To that question, I want to say no, and this is why. Because when you look at the Bengals team that went to the Super Bowls, the team that they were playing were that much better. Like, the Niners were way better than them. Them Bills team were favored in 3 of the 4 Super Bowls they lost, I think.
Yep.
They were favored 3 out of them 4.
And one, you won again, you're losing to a damn kicker.
Y'all leave Scott Norwood alone, goddamn. Y'all leave him alone.
They weren't
like
He's still hurt. I've seen a 30 for 34. He's still hurt about that.
I know he is.
He's still hurt about that.
But
came to a kicker. Yeah.
But here's the thing. So I can understand the question by the Bears fan who just asked that, whatever his screen name was.
Well, there's another, and I don't know if you can see it. He says, my question for the panel is, will this being the 3rd time they've gone, if they cannot win after all these years later, is it safe to say the Bengals are like the Bills, coming so close but never getting the brass ring?
Absolutely not. The Bills were a once in a generation type of run that they went on. That was entirely different.
Yeah, I was going to say that whole team the core of that team stayed
together and took
Art Levy, the coaching staff.
But they took deals that allowed them to stay together, which was unheard of at the time. But I will say this, and I said it last week on this program. The Bengals and Joe Burrow are so young and so talented at the moment that they don't know they're not supposed to be this good yet.
Yep.
They have no clue that they're not supposed to be this good yet.
Well, how isn't the same age too? Because he looks young as shit too.
He's young too. So there's this pervasive attitude in that team that's like, well, why not us? And they just play that way, and I love to see it. And I'm going to root for the Bengals because they're an Ohio team. I know a bunch of Bengals fans. My sisters live in Cincinnati and are Bengals fans. So I'm going to root for Cincinnati. And plus they're in the AFC North. So that only helps bring prestige to our division. So if the Browns ever eventually get the head out of their ass and can be on the same pantheon as, you're the only team in your division that hasn't won a Super Bowl yet or hasn't even been to one.
Correct.
So
Sucks even more knowing you beat their ass in their home stadium too
yeah,
this year.
I don't count that because again, they were resting all of their starters. You were
No,
playing
not
second.
No, you talking about the 41-17 beat down at the Browns.
Oh, the first
Yeah,
one.
that
Yeah.
The first
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. So
But-
I mean, I'm with you. I am picking the Bengals to win this game.
It's Ohio.
I definitely
to
think
me, it's
it's
just
going to be
strictly
in the
Ohio.
20s. I totally
Ohio
think it'll
got
be
it
in the
together.
20s, but
Ohio.
I think Cincinnati's winning this one.
Let me ask you guys this. You would like everybody's happy saying that Stafford deserves to be here. After all the shit that he
But
went through in
he's
Detroit.
here. He's there.
That's enough for you.
He got there. That's
Well, I'm just the question I was going to propose was is it more meaningful? Because I know there's that stat that everybody's throwing around is that Burrow could be the first quarterback ever with the Heisman, national championship, and a Super Bowl all within 3 years of each other. Is that something more for the stat book that we more meaningful than just Stafford because of all the shit that he's been through in Detroit and that he's finally here?
I see. I don't put any stock in that. Like the Heisman is a subjective award, right? Because the year that Burrow won the Heisman, yes, he was the best quarterback in college football. But I don't think he was the best player because there were two defensive players that also should have been there and won, who had record numbers of sacks and one of them was like a DB. I think he had a school record interceptions that year. I do not remember the names at the moment because I'm not sitting in front of my computer.
George is getting there for you.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
I believe it was that year. It might have been that year or the year after. But you do remember what I'm talking about, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
wasn't Chase? No, not Chase Young.
No,
I think it was Chase. It was Chase Young.
Was it Chase Young?
I think it was Chase Young. I think he finished second to Joe Burrow.
Yeah, you're right. It was Chase Young.
It was
Chase Young. Chase Young should have won the Heisman.
Young missed
that
the
year.
game.
But Chase Young should have won the Heisman that year.
And he beat out Tua, and because Tua got injured.
But so, like, to me, the Heisman is a subjective award, so I don't really count it. But if Stafford were to win the Super Bowl, I think for him it's vindication.
Mm-hmm.
To say that all these years, when everybody said he was the problem in Detroit, to prove that he wasn't. I think that's vindication. I also think that you can never say that, you'll get another shot. But I think that Burrow is going to have several more opportunities at it down the road, even if they don't win. I think they're going to, but they're, like I said, that team doesn't know that they're not supposed to be this good. And I think it's only going, even if they lose, I think it's only going to galvanize them. And I think it's going to attract a number of middle of the road to high profile free agents who look at what's going on in Cincinnati and go, I could be a part of that and we could win something there. I mean, you've got Mixon, you've got the other kid, Chase. You got Jamar Chase. You've got
T. Higgins.
Too.
You've got Usama. You've got Higgins. Can you imagine if an Adams or a Godwin or somebody else went there on that receiving core with Joe Burrow?
Wow.
Fuck, going to Michael Gallup, somebody you wouldn't expect.
Right. Or, you got guys like Jadeveon Clowney. Imagine Jadeveon Clowney going down there and bolstering that defense. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to attract some people in the offseason who want to be a part of what they're building there because they think that they can either collect a payday or collect a payday and contribute.
Well, and this is the funniest part. T. Higgins was just a rookie last year, and Chase is the rookie this year. You literally are technically dealing with the youngest wide receiving core in the NFL, and you're in the Super Bowl.
You have the youngest wide receiving core, but you've also got a lot of opportunity for growth with that team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the wild thing is all of those guys are on rookie contracts for 4 years. You're going, wow. Think about that one for a second. And that includes 2 of your offensive linemen too, which can only get better.
Right. Like there's so much room for growth and so much room for improvement on that team. And they're a good team already.
Yeah. Imagine because I believe it's Alex Mack. And imagine if he left the Niners and went over to Cincinnati to anchor that offensive line.
And you're back in you're back in the AFC North, a division that you know.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That's just mind-boggling to think about.
But look at the Rams though. Look at what they gave up to take a shot this year and probably next year.
They went for broke.
They are literally all in.
They literally put it yesterday about everything the Rams did the last like 2 years.
But look, but the chickens are going to come home to roost. Like, look at that. You've lost your this year and next year's first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Are you really believing that OBJ is going to stick around for 3 to 5 years for you?
I doubt it.
No.
You know what I mean? And be productive and produce for you for that long? Are you going to be able to afford Aaron Donald? Or are you going to be able?
Wait a minute.
I think Aaron Donald's already under that new max contract. I think.
Yeah, I was going to say Donald is.
That question would be Von Miller.
And
Miller
OBJ is
or Cooper Kupp. Like,
they're going to pay Cooper Kupp.
But
they're going to break bank.
Clint, I understand that, but look at the cap room they're sitting on right now, and the draft picks that they don't have right now. The Rams are in that waning of the window closing. They're on the back end of it, to be in my opinion. And it's not worth, but like they're
really
they're
tight.
at
$5 million in cap space.
Exactly. They're at the apex. They were last year and this year. They're at the apex of what they're going to be able to do with that team, and it's going to start going down.
That is going to be some serious.
Now that's I'm assuming with all them contracts, because ain't Von Miller a free agent at the end of the year.
But
who's that?
But Denver's already paying a good portion of that contract.
I was going to say, yeah. Hang on, let me bring up the dudes.
I don't know how they cap situation structured then. They said something about OBJ shit was in like Bitcoin or something.
Well, it is LA.
There's a lot of that that's going to be. There's a lot of NASCAR stuff that's going that way.
Von Miller, Darius Williams, Sony Michel, OBJ's there.
Them people they can really like replace with like lower rate ranges or draft pick stuff.
And even that damn kicker. I have been given him shit. I definitely think he's gone.
But you've got a much tighter window over the next 3 years with the Rams than you do with the Bengals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything stick out to you, Adam? Besides the stupid ads.
What, the Austin Corbett?
Like I said, if you're looking, there's really not a whole lot of money tied up. The only thing you're looking at is Von Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all said Denver paying most of that contract.
Right now they are.
Yeah.
But he's going to be a free agent. And what are you going to do then? You're not re-signing him.
And you're looking at OBJ kind of cheap.
He's going to want more.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it'll depend on what he's going to get. But if he doesn't get a ring, he'll turn around and just be like, all right, what do you want to do? And I'm sure his agent will shop him around. I mean, like I said, it is Los Angeles, and you know how some other people can turn around and finagle things. So
I guess.
I mean, yes, I think they'll actually re-sign Sony Michel too.
I mean, but you got Cam. But didn't they trade him after Cam Akers went down though?
Who? Sony Michel played yesterday. What are you talking about?
No,
I'm talking
traded for
about didn't they trade for Sonny Michel after Cam Akers went down in the beginning of the year?
No,
Like
it went
the preseason.
Henderson went down.
Henderson. After Henderson did.
I know Akers went down or this year. He tore something.
Yeah,
Akers went down, and then
Akers
Sony
down,
Michel
and then
started
Henderson
carrying
went
the
down.
load.
Yeah, when Henderson went down, that's when they turned around and went and got Sony Michel.
Okay. All right.
And you almost lost Akers yesterday.
Yeah, with the shoulder. Yeah.
All right.
That. I was like, oh no. I was like, that can't happen. Just
Tell
don't
you what.
do it.
One person that Austin Corbett could go take a gander for is the team that he's playing against on that Super Bowl Sunday,
Bungles?
because they need some better offensive line help. There's no reason fucking Burrow should be getting sacked 9 times in a playoff game.
No.
No, that's truly uncalled for. I'll give you that.
Hey, they still won though, right?
Yeah.
They did beat the Titans.
And beat the Chiefs again. And Cincinnati, good Lord have mercy, has 59-8 in cap room.
Told you.
Yeah, you got all them rookie contracts.
59-8. And you can improve that offensive line.
It's not just the rookie contracts though, Clint. Like I get it. I understand where you're coming from, but it's not just the rookie contracts. They have been smart and, dare I say, extremely frugal over the last 10 years with what they've paid out to free agents and what they've paid out to their own free agents. And now you are in a position with a very young, very healthy and motivated team where you can maybe spend a little bit extra and splurge a little bit on some guys and pay some guys a little bit more and you can definitely improve that coaching staff. So why not? Why not? If you're a free agent this year, why would you not tell your agent to
make a phone call?
Make a phone call to Cincinnati.
Yeah, because they would totally, if you went to go beef up that offensive line and you can continue, you've got your defense pretty much strung in already. It's like, hey, all right, fine. We're good. We're good to go.
They got to re-sign Jesse Bates, though.
Hang on.
That's the one person they do need to re-sign on their defense.
What about a Woozy?
Hang on. Bring it up. Let me get there. Here we go.
I just like his name.
I know, right? His name sounds like something you say when you get spun around like a bunch of times.
Wasn't Vernon Hargreaves? Didn't he used to play for the Bucks?
Yeah, he did.
Yep. I mean, these are all the unrestricted free agents. You've got 50. You got plenty of cap room, and you can re-sign these guys.
Kevin Huber, Jesse Bates.
You got Trey Flowers for a song.
Yeah, that's where he's at. I didn't know he was there.
Woo. That is quite impressive. And you know that you can sign all of these guys
and have room.
And still have room. That is, wow. Wow. Ooh, man, that could be one hell of a team to have to deal with for the next 4 or 5 years. Ouch. Phew. Oh man, that is sick. Even as a Browns fan, you're going, okay. Going to be a dogfight for a while.
Exactly.
It's going to be a dogfight for a while.
It's going to end up the AFC North. If the Browns get their shit together this offseason, you have the Steelers who are in a rebuilding mode. But if you look at the Steelers, they never stay in a rebuilding mode for very long. You know what I mean?
I don't. Yeah.
So you're going to have the Steelers who are there, and then you've got the Ravens who are kind of in the middle. Like, this is going to end up being the toughest division in football for a while.
Well, I mean, I said that the NFC on the flip side, on the NFC West was going to be a dogfight, which 3 out of the 4 teams did make the playoffs. Not quite exactly the 3 that I slotted there. I had the Cards and the Seahawks flipped. But there were still 3 teams out of that division that made the playoffs. And we said that we thought that the 3 AFC North teams were going to make the playoffs. We only got.
They did last year.
Ended up with the wrong ones, but, still guessed it wrong, but, hey, it is what it is.
Right.
I mean, if it wasn't for a tie and a Lions kicker blowing it, I mean, you're still only looking at Cincinnati.
I'm proud of the Bengals, though. I'm happy for them. I've always liked Burrow, too, though, so.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a lot of us who are fans of him.
I just remember getting laughed at when I said the Bengals could win the division this year on the preview episode. And the only person, there are 2 people that went like, yeah, I can see it, were Zolt and George.
I just like to laugh at you.
That's fine. Like, my wife likes to laugh at me. She's gonna get to laugh at me coming up.
Yeah, Cincinnati was going to be no joke, but nobody saw this coming. And I saw it was 125-1 in the preseason for the Bengals to make it to the Super Bowl.
So what do we do? Do we wait till the?
I think we wait till next week to make our pick.
No. I'm saying do we wait till after the Super Bowl to revisit all of our preseason analysts that we tried to become and do? Remember, we had our divisions to do, and we had the records and that.
Well, it's like how far off because the year before we were not off by much.
I think I wasn't off that. How many wins did the Lions get? Did the Lions get 4 wins?
3.
Damn it! I overgave them a win.
Yeah, yeah, you were close.
I gave them 4.
If
they would have won the tie, if they wouldn't have tied Pittsburgh, you'd have had your win.
Dude, I was way off on the Browns. I
think I was right on all my. I think I was close on all my picks.
I'm just serious. I want to see how bad I was on the AFC. I think I had the AFC South, I think.
Yeah, see, like I said, I knew that I had 3 of the teams out of the West going. It's just that the Cards and Seahawks were the flip team.
Did you save all that or no?
You probably saved all of that.
My
No, I thought you took everybody's as a collective.
No.
No,
everybody had their own paperwork.
Yeah, you need more.
I mean, basically, gonna have to go back to the episode and rewatch the episode. I could pretty much write it all down. I'll go back and jot everything down.
I think I still got my stuff written down in my notebook. So
I don't have mine written down at all.
Notebook.
Yeah, I said that my NFC West. I said everybody was going to be real close with 9 and 10 wins, and it was going to be a dogfight getting into the playoffs.
Hey, Bubba.
So I'm not too disappointed by that. Like I said, I thought it had been the Seahawks. Nobody saw the Russell Wilson injury coming, so
That was such a freak thing too.
Yeah, and it was. It truly was. Very weird.
Well, I think the more shocking thing wasn't the fact that Russell went down, it's who his backup was that came in. Because we ain't heard that fucker's name in how many years?
A long time.
Yeah.
And you probably still won't hear from him
Like Geno
for another
Smith.
long time again
Geno Smith.
Right.
after that DUI. Bye-bye. Dumbass.
I just don't get these NFL players in this drinking and driving shit.
I just remember last thing I remember about Geno Smith. I just remember he got punched and he got his jaw broke by his own teammate.
But that's the thing with the NFL, right? So the NFL has a service.
Yep.
They have a car service on
Yeah.
call in every city with an NFL team.
Yep, every team has one. And we brought this up after the Raiders incidents. You know,
Where
it's like, hello, you have it. All you have to do is hit the button, hit the app. All you have to do is hit the app. And it's covered. It's not like they even have to pay for it.
they don't have to pay for it. It's covered by the team.
Don't have to pay for it. It's covered through the team because they're getting it as a tax write-off. You
Well,
don't even have to pay for it.
It has been less than 2 minutes. You ate all that food already? Jesus.
How do I get that gig? I want to be the one to go pick up the players when they're drunk
Right.
and drunken.
Yeah. I'm in. Shit. I'm available.
No, than a 49ers player.
Yeah. Okay.
Now she's perusing the kitchen looking for scraps that I dropped while making her food.
All right. Let's flip over. Let's flip over real quick. Recap off the Rams here. That game, their game still wasn't pretty yesterday. It was not.
No,
It
and there's no synchronicity between Stafford and OBJ. None.
I was more of. He seems to be still off time with the offensive line. It's like they were, even though, because they said, well, they were trying to work a sideline count because there were so many more 49er fans there. Which, by the way, when they showed that big wide view on TV, I'm like, yep, so much for trying to block the tickets, guys. It backfired royally. Good God. But it's just like, okay, wait a minute. You have to literally play your home games at home, and the fan base that's around in the stadium is not yours. You're like, what the hell?
Well, I just want to make sure that let's just hope that the Rams make sure that they send a edible arrangement, some chocolates, and some flowers to Stephon Tart or whatever that guy's name is that dropped that interception, because he makes that interception. We're not even talking about that. We're hearing you bitching about the 49ers
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl. Shit.
Yeah, you don't know how much of an exhale came right there. I was like, oh.
Because that could have been the turning point of the – I mean, it was a turning point of the game regardless.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Because it was in his hands. And I was just like, oh, my God. It's all I'm sitting there going, pick six? And I'm sure that's what he was thinking, too. And,
Yeah, we got to catch
that kid's good. That kid is amazing. I'm very impressed by him. Really.
He'll always have that haunt him.
Yeah, that's gonna suck. But I mean, it was just, I mean, both quarterbacks just seemed to be out of it yesterday, and you're just like, you can't do that going into the Super Bowl. I mean, you're literally putting yourself on display, and that's why I nearly scoffed at the damn spread opening this morning when I saw 3.5. I'm like, give me a break. I'm like, yeah, I get it. It's in LA.
Oh, the Rams played smart though, defensively wise though. They just toned in on Deebo Samuel.
But the thing is that they didn't play smart offensively though.
Oh no, they know. They kind of been doing that all season though. They've been inconsistent offensively. But defensively, they played the perfect strategy. I mean, they literally just toned in on the running game. And
yeah,
much as Deebo Samuel is good, but Jalen Ramsey ain't easy over there.
But this isn't, this isn't a depleted Tampa Bay offense you're going to be playing. This is a full-on. Your corners. Ramsey's going to have his hands full. Ramsey's not going to know which way to go.
Not only is Ramsey going to have his hands full, it's
going to be a good matchup. They're both going to get there. They ain't going to say Chase going to just like run through Ramsey. Like, they're going to get there.
The Cincinnati's very balanced. They have a run game. They have receivers.
They do. I'm talking about just a one-on-one matchup between Chase and Ramsey. Like, that's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah,
I'll be tuned into that the whole game.
You leave CJ and T. Higgins open all day too, and you're gonna have CJ sitting there all day long.
Tyler Boyd. What's up with Tyler Boyd? Is he hurt, or do he just not play no more?
No, he's there. It's just that he's now just.
Joe Burrow need to feed him while you're there rocking all three of your wide receiver shirts like they Migos.
What was the
Tyler Boyd to pass?
CJ.
What's that?
What's the update on Uzuma or whatever? Was it something torn? I know he was in crutches and a brace after the game.
Ankle.
He got 2 weeks to heal up.
Not really saying.
It is a sprained MCL. It's a sprained MCL.
That's what, like a 4-week thing?
Nick Chubb has sprained MCL, and I think he sat out 4 weeks. But I think he's gonna try to gut it through. I mean, it's the final game of the season. I mean,
you got a week. You keep him out of practice this week. You don't do anything with him, and then you practice him next week.
See how he holds up.
Just treat him this week.
He was just wearing a protective brace during the post-game celebration.
Okay.
I think
he said that he told the team's website that he believes there is a strong chance he will be playing in the Super Bowl.
I think you keep him out of practice this week, and then you maybe you just do,
I think all he has to do is walk through. I mean, he literally can be in the team meetings and everything.
He could be in the team meetings, but like I think you put him in the team meetings, and you let him do walkthrough, but no contact, no running, none of that.
Nope. Yep. Exactly.
And then next week, you maybe take Monday and Tuesday because you got media day and whatnot, and you see how he does. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, when they have real practice, put him out there and go from there.
Agreed. Yep. I totally agree with that. Yeah, because he'll be an instrumental part too. I mean, you saw how huge some of those plays with Kittle yesterday, and it's like, wow, apparently somebody forgot somebody.
The people's tight end.
I mean, I think that with the way that the Rams played yesterday, especially after that lengthy drive where they scored and made it 7-0, and the 49ers brought it right back in half that time, I think that is a sign that there is something definitely wrong on that team. And I think that the Rams should be worried.
Yeah, it sounds like it's more of that case of too many all-stars and not enough chemistry.
Possibly, but I also think that the Bengals should be extremely worried.
Yeah.
Because...
Are you talking about 99?
Yep. Because...
Well, that's going to be obvious.
But...
That man stat Jimmy Garoppolo breaking a 3-man triple team yesterday. That
But-
dude's a freak.
But you know that you're going to have to deal with him.
And then Von Miller, and yeah.
I'm less afraid of Von Miller than I am of Donald.
Hell yeah. I'm less afraid of Von Miller and Aaron Donald, too. Hey,
But Von Miller's what, a 10-year veteran?
he has Super Bowl experience, too. Didn't he make the game, the fumble in the Super Bowl that Denver won?
But that was
Okay.
an all-defensive team. Like, Peyton Manning didn't help that team win that Super Bowl.
Oh, no, we know that. Peyton Manning was the old Peyton Manning. Like, he got carried.
But
with
again, Von Miller was young in that Super Bowl. It's now 2022. You've got a decade of the NFL on that body. You're not moving like you once were.
Well, and
with guys like Jamar Chase and Mixon, if you can get Mixon behind Von Miller and throw a screen or a slant to Mixon, Mixon's going to pick up 30, 35 yards on him.
yeah, and next week we'll go over a little bit more in depth on the verses and matchups.
Don't forget about old Pete.
What's that?
Pee-wee.
Don't forget about Ryan.
I swear that guy, every time he catches the ball, he just gets nailed right away. It's like he's thinking too much. What can
that
he do?
one screen yesterday, he took it to the house.
Yes, he did. But
Hey,
most of the time, he's always looking like, all right, what should I do? It's like, dude, move forward with the ball.
North and south.
We got
Yeah.
15 minutes left, and we got a major event coming up this weekend that we're
And
talk
that's
about.
why I wanted to get off of the football stuff. We were going to turn around and.
You're not going to watch it?
When is it?
Sunday.
What?
Sunday.
Yeah.
I should be able to.
It's Sunday at 6 o'clock.
Oh, my overlay. It's a background. Damn it.
Sorry.
Sorry, Bruiser. My
okay.
NASCAR background is background, not overlaid. Sorry.
But
Damn.
I'm fine with it. But you have the Clash this coming weekend, and the Rolex this past weekend was fun to watch. Yeah, I know you don't care, Adam. You don't care about Rolex. Saw that motion.
Well, I mean, what was this? That was the.
So that's IMSA. That's International Sports. I forget what IMSA stands for. Sports car. They're road course racing. It's endurance racing. So like the 24-hour Le Mans, the 12 hours of Sebring, the Rolex. That's all IMSA stuff. IMSA goes to Road America.
So this was the whole 24 hours of Daytona thing.
Yes, and it's the race that starts their season. It's the race that really starts off the entire international motorsports season. It's one of them. It was the 60th anniversary of the Rolex. And to be honest, I've never, before last year and this year, I've never really paid attention to it. Never watched it. I knew what it was, but didn't care. And that first restart, hearing all the DPI cars, the cool looking prototype cars, and all the GTP cars coming down the front tri-oval into turn one on the road course.
These are the badass cars.
Yeah. So that's the road course stuff. Like that one right there that's in front of that's a DPI car. They're fun to watch. They were coming down to, because they don't do a lap count. They're on a timer, right? And when you get within, I want to say 2 minutes of the 24-hour timer, it'll flash on the screen last lap, final lap, and it'll be for all the classes. And I think it was the GTD class. There were two Porsches that had been battling the last hour and a half of the race. And they got into the backstretch chicane, or the chicane before going into the backstretch. And they touched, and the one went around hard and ended up third. And yeah, right.
I'm bring this up larger. Make that larger. There we go. There we go.
5. Turn 5 is where it happened.
So right in here.
Yeah. They touched, and the dude went around, and he ended up third. And Dale Jr. was doing the part of the booth, and they were talking, and a bunch of the IMSA guys were like, that's they're really beating and banging on each other, and you shouldn't be doing that. And Junior's like, let him fight it out. Let him go. That's the stuff race fans like to see, and they were really hard. And the one dude who was the guy who ended up third, who ended up going around, put out a statement today where he congratulated the guy who finished first and said he wasn't going to give the guy who finished first an inch, and the guy who finished first wasn't going to give him an inch. And that was the way that it should have ended up, was racing hard to the end. And he harbored no ill will or no ill feelings. He even went over to their trailer and congratulated them. Like that's
a good race.
If you pull it up on YouTube, I think you could find it. It's probably about a 10-second clip.
Oh, we're turning here.
Where does he Bruiser drinking pop instead of a brew?
I have an entire drawer full of Bumbleberry that I have not cracked open, but we went to the grocery store yesterday, and it was the first time in weeks that I've been able to find the Dr. Pepper cream soda in 12 packs, so we bought some.
Good shit. It's one of my favorites.
It is.
I never had it before. I gotta try it though. Dr. Pepper, that's my pop. So.
I tell you what, there's a bar that has Dr. Pepper on tap and cream soda on tap, and they'll make it, but then they put grenadine in it, and it's
the cherry.
Yeah.
Nice little touch.
I'm intrigued.
Well,
it's such a smooth flavor.
I did.
I just love Dr. Pepper. Like, I don't really believe
I'm
it's bad. Dr. Pepper.
There it is.
There it is, right there. Dude,
guy, do you have a video of it?
It just gave me the screenshot. Oh,
there you
There's
go.
The video.
There we go.
Yeah, this is the Battle of the Racetrack. Driving the DPI. LP2, LP3, GT Daytona to the high sides. Different lines.
Oh, I was wrong. It was in like turns 2 and 3.
These five deep a little bit. Now he's side by side. He's closer. He's going to get the lead. Gemini goes for a body parts flying. This is not a surprise at all. The way these two guys have been boxing each other for more than an hour now. But now he's on the outside of the kick. What will happen? Neither one's going to give into the kick right here.
Van Thor, that's the guy who went around.
He knew it would be like this. He knew it. You're in the grain, nothing he can do with it. Can he come get back off the attack? Uses all the curve. Yeah. Trying to get everything he can in the braking zone here. He knows he has to attack now. He has to stay close to this.
That is super close. That was super close.
Oh, they don't have the wreck? The wreck happens like right after that.
That's all they put in. That's all they put in. They hosed us. Let's see if we got another clip at the bottom. There we go.
There it is. There it is. I was right. It was on the bus stop in the backstretch. It wasn't on turn 5. But those two guys. So if you looked at the ticker, when they first started beating and banging, there was 4 minutes left. That wreck happened on the final lap. They were beating and banging on each other for 4 solid minutes, like
That's
that.
Crazy. That's
and
insane.
it was awesome to watch. Awesome to watch.
And that's what I was gonna say. And that's some exciting racing to watch. That is no joke.
Which is why I'm psyched for Sunday, because they're on a quarter-mile track. There's no escape. You can't get a 2-second lead in front of somebody.
No, they're
always
in the Coliseum. That when they put that track up, oh my God. They showed that during the game yesterday. I'm like, dude, that is
go look up Bowman Gray. It's no different than Bowman
like,
Gray.
yeah. What was the other track that I noticed? I mean, it's just like you only get up to like 50 miles an hour for a second, and then you're right back into a turn.
You mean short tracks, the
Yeah.
NASCAR runs?
Yeah.
You might be thinking of Martinsville, but they get in speeds of 80, 90 miles an hour at Martinsville.
Do they on this
Yeah, they get they.
Okay.
So think of Martinsville as 2 quarter-mile drag strips and two hairpin turns. That's what Martinsville is. I hate you. Oh, that was Sean who posted that.
Yeah, you see what I've had to post though? I'm like, I'll see you in hell.
Yeah. I hope his asshole burns
This looks. I mean, we know how big the football field is. This looks small as hell.
It's a quarter mile.
It is. That is the smallest damn track.
How the hell are you gonna do pit stops?
They released how they were going to do it, and I will be honest, I did not read the article yet because they just released it today.
Dude, that is like so damn small. I mean, that is small.
How many cars in this race?
Like 25 or something. 30.
How many are gonna finish?
I think they'll all finish. I don't think you're going to take 36 cars out there, 36 brand new cars, just to tear them up.
Right.
Like
But
I said, that looks so damn small.
But because I'm actually going to take Akers' suggestion, I am going to next week go on NASCAR.com and put together the Dueling Aces NASCAR Fantasy League, just so Akers can prove how much of a moron he is when it comes to fantasy. Because you actually have to pay attention to it to do. And we're going to go off the standard scoring on there, so it'll be you pick 5 drivers every week with one in the garage, and it will reset at the playoffs. However, you only get 10 selections on a driver during the year. So if you want to pick Kyle Larson, you got 10 shots to pick him. So it's going to come down to driver management and actually paying attention as to what drivers are good on which tracks and things like that. And you got 36 races. So yeah, you got to
know when to pick and choose.
Yep, absolutely. I just want to see Akers pick Kyle Busch 10 times in a row and then bitch that he can't pick Kyle Busch anymore. Because you know he will. Well, this is stupid. Well, you're a moron.
I wouldn't. I mean, there's only like maybe 2 or 3 tracks that I would definitely take Kyle Busch on.
I mean, are you ruling out super speedways?
In this case, yeah, because they're such a crapshoot.
Okay. What are your tracks?
You always take Bristol's one.
Okay.
He runs good at Bristol a lot. Was it Vegas is another one he usually runs decent at because that's his hometown track.
Okay.
What was the other one? I know there's one I'm going to say. I'm forgetting that I know he always. He won like fucking 4 races in a row there. I don't remember if it was Charlotte. He's not good. Is it Charlotte?
He's not great at Charlotte.
I didn't think he was. Dover, he's not bad at, right?
Dover, he's not terrible at. But I'll tell you the one track that people sleep on him at is Pocono.
Yeah, that's what he won that weekend, didn't he? When they did the double thing, he won both, didn't he? Or
He won one.
And Harvick won the other.
Oh, there's the pit stalls. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Holy
It
shit.
took me a bit. Sorry. Yeah, that's and they said it's only going to be a few pit members per car. So
Yeah, I think you're only getting 3.
yeah, that's what it said.
You're getting 2 tire changers and a gas man.
Gas man. Yep. It's going to be really tricky. That is going to be seriously tricky.
But he won when he won at Pocono this summer. He won day 2, and that was when he only had 4th gear. Kyle Busch, when he wins, reminds me of Braylon Edwards catching a football. You have to put so much adversity in between him and that win, and then he comes up with it, and you're kind of like, how did he do that?
All the shit you throw at him, like he's had such a shitty day, but they've made the proper adjustments and blah blah blah. Here he is in victory lane.
Yeah, I can't stand his attitude, and I think that he has been a detriment to the sport in a lot of ways. But you can't deny the talent.
He can drive the wheels off of anything.
Pretty close. I will tell you, I have watched some of the stuff on like Flow Racing and Dirt Vision, where they go to Millbridge and you can see the little kids running, like Kyle Larson's son or Clint Boyer's son or Kyle Busch's son, and the way that he talks to his son about racing is in a completely different fashion, and I think he's learned a little bit. He might have mellowed a little bit over the years.
Well, he's got another baby on the way too, so.
Yeah, they got a girl on the way. I tell you, the guy that I'm real interested to watch this year is Kurt.
In the new team?
Mm-hmm. I want to see how him and Bubba work together. Because I watched that next-gen Daytona test, and Kurt and Denny Hamlin got hooked up, and Kurt pushed him to a good 10, 15 car lengths out, and they were tandem drafting, and nobody was going to catch him.
Well, I mean,
nobody was going to catch him.
You can't get mad at him for pushing the boss man.
No, but it was interesting to see because NASCAR, I believe, has solidified the rules package as far as the engine and aerodynamics for the new car is concerned. They're going to go with a 4 or 5 inch spoiler at all tracks. Pretty short spoiler considering what they've run for a number of years, especially at super speedways. And they're going to the 650 horsepower at all tracks except for Atlanta.
Which is the fastest, right?
Mm-hmm. Especially with the repave.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a 1.5 mile Daytona or Talladega versus the 2.5 mile what Daytona and Talladega is. So I mean we'll see, but I'm interested, especially with what they did in the rules and how they changed things and how they changed the aerodynamics of the car through the testing. They've talked about they haven't done it yet, but that underneath pan of that car is a sealed pan. It's sealed off from the ground, right? Except for the engine bay. They've talked about putting a couple of relief holes in that pan to allow heat to escape. But what does that do to the car underneath? What kind of pressure does it create?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you wreck one of those cars, does it help it go airborne? That was why they put the rear diffuser on the car. Like if you look at a lot of the IMSA cars, or if you look at a lot of the road course cars that are overseas, the sportsman cars, they all have that big carbon fiber diffuser underneath. It looks like shark's fin or whatever. They put those on the new cars, and that's to kind of help them from not going airborne.
So do you have any dark horse like drivers to keep an eye on this year, like whether it be rookies or anybody else?
Ross Chastain.
And the one car.
Ross Chastain with oh God, Pitbull owns them. Pitbull and Justin Marks. Trackhouse. I would watch out for that, and I tell you, I would be remiss if I didn't say watch out for Colleague. Because while I don't think Justin Haley's going to do much in the way of cup racing, Noah Gregson's running some cup races for him. Daniel Hemrick's running some cup races for him, and AJ Allmendinger's running some cup races for him.
Over on the road courses.
He's running the All-Star race, he's running the Clash, and I think he's running the 500. So
I know he's a road course ringer.
I would be we've got this week is the Clash, next week is the Super Bowl, and then the following week is the 500.
You got the duels on Thursday night.
Yeah, so I think after the Super Bowl, spend time reviewing the Super Bowl. After that, we can go into a little bit of a season preview for NASCAR because
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you've got it. It's like, yeah, Daytona. It's like, hello, yeah.
Because
The only reason I asked is because we all know that Brad's my driver, but for some reason last year I became a big fan of Tyler Reddick in the 8.
I will tell you to watch Tyler because I think in a couple of years he's going to end up with Mr. H.
Shit.
If he doesn't end up with Mr. H, he's going to end up driving a JRM Cup car.
See, Adam, you guys kind of pulled me in a little bit last year, trying to chase back down and, watching a few guys. And, as much as I know Bruiser's just like, what are you thinking? Martin Truex, between him and Hamlin and Harvick, those were pretty much my 3 guys that I stuck with a lot. It was even Hamlin, Harvick, and Logano on a lot of the picks all the time. And Truex mixed in there quite a bit. It's kind of like those 4 guys are, similar guys who I just kind of kept watching or keeping an eye out for and really watching how they were racing. And even
what I will tell you about Truex, though, and then why I tried to stray you away from Truex, is that nobody in the Joe Gibbs camp was doing well last year because they had front end issues for a lot of the year. They could not keep the front end of that car just sucked down to the ground for whatever. They were having aerodynamic issues. Martin is a great driver, but Martin is one of those guys that when he starts going south, he gets in his head and then does too much and ends his day.
He overthinks it, yeah.
With Logano,
I don't know what to think. Logano was on and off, but I don't know what to think of Logano because I was really with a lot.
Like, there's part of me that I can't stand him because I really think he is one of the true whiners of the sport. Like, who was it that he picked a beef with a few years ago? Was it Harvick?
Brad?
No, he picked that beef with Harvick, and then Harvick came after him and he ran.
Oh, is that when he threw the water bottle and
bailed? Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, that was the water bottle.
Two guys who I picked, and they have beef with each other.
You talk all that shit. Then when you pull up on you, throw a water bottle high behind your.
No, that was
beating your ass. I'm finding you in your trailer.
The water bottle was Tony Stewart.
Oh, Tony. Okay.
The water bottle was Tony Stewart, but he had dumped Harvick somewhere, and then Harvick turned around and dumped him, and then Joey went on, I think it was Sirius or somewhere else, and said we don't need to have that kind of retaliatory tactics in NASCAR. And I went, you started it. Or you can even go back further to 13 in the playoffs when he dumped Kenseth at Kansas when Kenseth was in the lead, and then Kenseth fucking punted him at Martinsville.
I fucking hated him for that.
You hated Kenseth for that?
I know. My thing is if you're racing for the lead, it's fine. But dude, you're like so many laps down, and you cost him the win because you fucking wanted to,
That's the best time to do it.
But
But
Logano was multiple laps down. Logano wasn't racing for the lead.
I know they were racing for the lead.
Mm-mm.
that'd be the best time to do it. When I know I don't have a chance to win, but I can stop you from winning. Oh, yeah.
No, I would have to say one of my favorite years of NASCAR though was when it was Stewart and Edwards talking shit to each other in the fucking press conferences going into the championship.
And
when,
then
like,
they would shake hands.
Right, but they would talk so much shit that like Stewart even said it at one point because Edwards said something cocky and Stewart's like, "I've been here." He goes, "I got one of those trophies. Do you?" And Edwards was like, "Fuck."
Well, you want to talk about guys that never reached their full potential. Carl Edwards is one of them.
And he just left abruptly too.
They weren't going to renew his deal at JGR. And
he got bought out. I thought. Like
no, they were. He was at the end of his contract, and JGR wasn't going to renew him to bring in. That was the year they brought in Truex. Instead of having Truex, can you imagine Carl Edwards, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch as your driver lineup?
Wow. Wow.
I still feel bad though when I think of Edwards because of what Brad did to him at Dega.
But Carl Edwards started that.
Yeah, I know, but still, I don't think you ever intentionally try to flip someone, but
but Carl Edwards flipped Brad.
Yeah.
In Atlanta.
All right, let me ask you this question: if there's the opportunity for Brad at Daytona, does he take out Joey?
To dump Joey? I don't see how you don't.
Because all them years that like he was up there, and like last year he's in the fucking 2 years in a row he was up there in the fucking
lead. He got dumped by Joey.
Yep, because Joey was too fucking aggressive in the fucking turns with the bump drafting.
I don't see how if you're Brad, you either A, don't dump him, or B, don't get him so loose to the point and throw a hard block on him where he dumps himself. You know what I mean?
I just that's the thing is like I get so much shit because my driver's never won a 500, blah blah blah. I don't know, like we don't know how it would have ended last year, but I just wish we could have had the final three between. I mean, granted there was, it was Brad, Joey, and then McDowell or whatever. If they not wreck, I would love to have seen how that would have played out.
If Brad and Joey don't wreck, I think Chase Elliott ends up winning that. Because he was getting a hard push from Kurt Busch at the time, and he could have sucked up on McDowell and taken that draft away from McDowell, and at least, if not one, would have made it interesting. You know what I mean?
Well, like they always say, the worst place to be at Daytona with the white flag drops is in the front.
I think this year is going to be a passive Daytona. Anytime you put 40 cars out on that track and you get them going 200 miles an hour, there's always an opportunity that somebody's going to tear up a bunch of race cars. I think, though, that guys are going to be a little bit more timid for the first 50 to 60 laps.
New car, new setup, all this shit.
Yep. You get down to the last 10, though, and
balls to the wall, bitches.
Yep, because I think not only with the rain, the 5-hour delay that they had last year, but the fact that you took out more than half the field on lap 14, there were a number of officials of NASCAR that went down to haulers afterward and said, "Knock it the fuck off." I mean, Ryan Blaney destroyed his car trying to avoid a wreck and had to go into the mud and rip the entire front end of his car off and was out of the race. You're talking guys that are going to be paying the bills for NASCAR for the next 15, 20 years. You can't have them not in contention after lap 14.
Right. Yeah, I'll start getting more excited once the duels, like the Clash is exciting. It'll be definitely because of this year with where it's at, and then like once the duels start, that's when I start getting into like full-fledged Daytona mode.
I kind of tune out after the awards banquet, which is the first week of December.
Mm-hmm.
and I'll listen to the radio and I'll pay attention to it a little bit. But once middle of January rolls around and we start getting towards Rolex, then I'll start paying attention to the radio again and reading articles and checking up on stuff, because then you're really getting into stuff. And they're supposed to be bringing back testing next year. So
Are they actually going to qualify this year, or are they going to do the poll?
they're doing qualifying because it's a new car. They're doing qualifying, so they're going to have qualifying. They're going to still be doing a lot of 1 and 2 day shows. They're not going to pile into a track on Thursday and have 4 days worth of practice. You're going to have a 50-minute practice session, and then you're going to qualify, and then Sunday you're going to race. So
when you say this is your time of the year where you're doing your R&D?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Research and development, baby.
I'm also paying my $600 this year for track tickets.
Where are you going this year?
Michigan and Charlotte.
Oh, yeah?
We went, I mean, that's the same two places we went last year. I'm taking the whole family. We're going to Michigan, and then the daughter and I are going to go to the 600 as a dad and daughter trip for fun.
Yeah, there we go. Now we got it in the background. It popped.
I love that the number 29 car is down there at the bottom. That's my wife's guy.
Yeah, that was just by pure accident. But we will turn around and continue the conversation next week, as we've got a lot going in with Super Bowls literally occurring, and
we can review a race. Yes.
Yep. Much to Akers' displeasure.
Fuck Akers.
We'll catch y'all on the flip side. See you next week.
See you next.